Driveway. Engine off, lights out. The only thing you can see is the blue glow of your phone, 6 inches from your face. You open the app, mostly out of habit, mostly out of dread. But then you see it. $20,000. A 2, followed by 4 zeros. For the first time in your life, the comma is in a different place. You sit a little taller. You breathe. You start mentally renovating your entire existence. The apartment with windows that actually shut. A car that doesn't sound like it's coughing up a lung. A vacation that isn't just sleeping on your parents' couch. It feels like you won. But look closer at that screen. Somewhere in a glass building, an algorithm just saw that number 2, and it's not smiling. It's salivating. The exact second you look safe on paper, the world shifts. The banks, the ones that ignored you when you were at 0, suddenly find your email. Platinum offers, heavy metal cards, high-interest opportunities. Your feed changes. No more memes. Now it's business class, kitchen renovations, new SUVs with giant bows on the hood. The system finally noticed you, and it's not here to congratulate you. It's here to take it back. Most people hit this number and think they've reached the finish line. They haven't. They've just entered the most dangerous phase of the game. Phase 2. Statistically, 37% of adults couldn't cover a $400 emergency. Getting to 20,000 puts you in a different class. It feels like a fortress. But here's the wild twist. For most people who hit 20,000, their savings are lower a year later. Not because they're lazy, because the rules changed the moment they started winning. If you treat 20,000 like a trophy, you're just getting on a new roller coaster. Up to 20. Down to 5 for a car repair. Crawl back to 18. Surprise medical bill. Back to 3. Repeat for a decade. You aren't building wealth, you're just a more expensive version of broke. I'm obsessed with how money actually works once you stop drowning. Everyone online says just get to 20,000 and compounding does the rest. Half-truth. Dangerous half-truth. Getting there is phase 1. That's the grind. Staying there? That's phase 2. And if you don't know the rules of phase 2, the system will eat you alive. Quick thing, I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't personal advice. I'm just a nerd who reads too many reports on how incentives work. Use this as education. Use it as a new way to think. If you're making life-altering moves, talk to a professional. Let's talk about the part that feels personal. I remember the first time I hit 5 figures. I felt untouchable. I bought the better shoes. I ordered the premium appetizer. I felt like I had finally made it. 3 months later, I was at $4,000. I didn't even buy anything big. I just drifted. That's the reach-in effect. US personal savings rates are around 4.5% right now, half of what was normal in the 70s. The entire economy is tuned to keep you exactly 1 bad week away from kind of stressed. When you hit 20,000, it feels like a miracle. You look at the app, you think, I'm safe. Stop. That's when the trap snaps shut. It's not just your bank balance, it's your brain. Hitting 20,000 is a weird emotional experience. Your brain flips. You go from, I'm drowning, to, I might be okay. You stop panicking over every surprise bill. You start thinking, annoying, but I can deal with it. That relief is the most dangerous thing you will ever feel. Why? Because the second you stop panicking, you stop being hypervigilant. You exhale. You relax. And that's when the outside world flips how it sees you. The bank flags your account. You aren't a risk to be managed anymore. You're a high-value target. Suddenly, your inbox isn't full of account low alerts. It's exclusive invitations. A premium card, shiny metal, a higher limit, personal lines of credit. The bank isn't doing you a favor. They don't make money from people at 0. They make money from people who look stable but are easy to tempt into long, profitable contracts. Think about that. The system wants you to stay right here, stable enough to pay the interest, but not free enough to walk away. That's the rich tax. No one calls it a tax, but that's exactly what it is. It's the cost of looking like you've arrived. You notice it in tiny, invisible ways. Travel sites start defaulting your searches to the 4-star hotels. Your credit card pre-approvals suddenly have 5 figures on them. You tell yourself, I can finally live a little. Psychologically, it makes sense. You've been white-knuckling your way through phase 1 for years. You were just trying to keep things from exploding. Now you finally have a buffer. Of course you want a reward. But here's the cold truth. The system is counting on that reward. While you're busy celebrating, the math is trying to work for you, but only if you let it. Let's talk about the timeline. This is where things get real. When your account is tiny, all the progress comes from you, your sweat, your overtime. If you have $2,000 and the market gives you 10%, that's $200. It doesn't change your zip code. But at $20,000, that same 10% is $2,000. Still not quit your job money, but you feel it. Quick math. If you're saving $1,000 a month and earning 8% a year, it takes about 18 months of saying no to get from 0 to 20,000. 18 months of grind. But your second 20,000? It doesn't take another 18 months. It's faster. The first pile is finally helping. Same person, same job, same contribution. Completely different slope on the graph. This is where compounding starts to feel real. It's not just a meme anymore. Vanguard looked at this. People with a $2,000 buffer had financial well-being scores 21% higher than people with nothing. Add a 6-month cushion, another 13% jump. Translation, once you have a floor, your stress drops. But, and this is the catch that ruins people, the stress drop creates a safety illusion. Because you feel safe, you stop guarding the floor. You treat your savings like a yo-yo. You hit 20, you reward yourself back down to 12, and you wonder why you're still working the same job 5 years later. It's like planting a tree and then ripping it out of the ground every spring to check the roots. You're killing the tree, and you're killing your time. Some of you are thinking, I can't even get to 2,000. Why care about 20,000? Here's why. The habits you build to get from $200 to $2,000 are the exact same muscles you'll need to protect 20,000. Because the world will fight you harder after you look stable than it ever did when you were obviously struggling. The moment you look good on paper is the moment the most sophisticated traps begin to move. And the first trap? It's not a bank offer. It's you. You're at dinner, friends, drinks. Someone suggests another round. A year ago, you would have done the mental math. Can I afford the extra $20 plus tip? Tonight? You don't even blink. You just nod. It feels good. You're a money person now. You've got the 20,000. You've proven you have discipline. And that is exactly when the silent assassin moves in. It's called the identity shift. For months, maybe years, you were the boring one. The person who packed a lunch. The person who said no to the weekend trip. But now, you've arrived. You're successful. You're responsible. So you loosen the belt, just a notch. You start upgrading the small things. The organic groceries. The better coffee beans, the $80 gym membership because health is an investment. You stop checking prices. You tell yourself, I'm not broke anymore. I don't need to obsess over every dollar. It's subtle. It's quiet. You aren't doing anything outrageous. You aren't buying a private jet. You're just living like a responsible adult. But here's the catch. While you're busy enjoying your new identity, your fixed costs are quietly drifting upward until they're almost equal to your income again. Suddenly, your extra money disappears. That 20,000 is still there, but it's doing all the heavy lifting. No backup, no margin. You've traded the stress of, will I pay rent, for a much heavier weight. Am I going to screw up this one chance I have to be free? Stop. Look at your hands. If you're scrolling through this while thinking about how to spend that next $1,000, you're already falling for it. The system is very happy to help you screw it up. The moment your balance looks respectable, you aren't a customer anymore. You're a business model. Your bank rewards you. A premium card, a $300 annual fee, but hey, you get points. A personal loan offer for that home project you mentioned, higher limits, higher risk. Your investment app pushes featured funds, high expense ratios, expert picked. They congratulate you on your growth while they quietly skim the cream off the top. Your feed is a minefield. Car deals. Buy now, pay later on furniture. You've earned it, the ads say, but they don't want you to have a safety net. They want you to have a contract. Let's look at the math. This is the stability tax in action. The car. As of 2025, the average new car payment is about $745 a month. Over 5 years, that's $45,000 leaving your pocket. New cars lose 20% of their value in the first year. You're taking money that could buy you time, and you're parking it in your driveway, where it's quietly melting. Then there are the fees. Boring index fund, 0.05% cost. Expert managed fund, 0.65% cost. On $20,000, the boring fund costs you $10 a year. The expert fund, $130. It sounds small. It isn't. That $120 difference compounded over 30 years is a bonfire for your future. None of this feels like a crisis. It feels like progress. It's just a car, just a card, just a slightly nicer apartment. But put all of that on top of a savings rate that's already thin, you can see why so many people hit 20,000, feel grown up for a year, and then wonder where the money went. They didn't fail. They just treated 20,000 like a trophy instead of a floor. You just have a tan now, but you're still a prisoner in a nicer cell. So how do you enjoy the money without nuking the base? You have to stop thinking in piles and start thinking in layers. Don't think of it as savings. Savings is a soft word. It sounds optional. It sounds like something you can dip into when you're bored on a Tuesday night. Think in layers. Layer 1, the floor. This is your oxygen. It's not a trophy. It's not an investment. It's the 3 to 6 months of rent, lights, and groceries that keeps you from ever feeling that phase 1 dread again. Vanguard found the data. This specific buffer is the stress killer. But here's the internal thought that ruins people. I have $20,000. Why am I still driving this car? Why am I still living like I'm broke? Because the floor isn't for spending, it's for sleeping. You don't eat the foundation of your house just because you're hungry. You leave it alone so the rest of the building stays upright. Layer 2, growth. This is your partner. Boring, low cost, index funds. No hot tips, no swinging for the fences, just time and math. Layer 3, fun and options. The overflow. This is where the I deserve this money lives. But here's the rule. The fun only happens if layer 1 and 2 are full. If you touch the floor to buy a flight, you aren't living a little. You're sabotaging the only thing keeping you safe. You're back in phase 1. You just have a tan now. Let me show you how this looks in the real world. 2 people, same income, same $20,000 milestone. Alex. Alex sees the number and feels rich. He upgrades the life. The apartment with the rooftop lounge. The car with the monthly payment that looks like a mortgage. He still has his $20,000, but his floor is made of glass. 1 bad month, 1 layoff, 1 illness, and the glass shatters. Alex is 45 now, making 6 figures, and he's still terrified to look his boss in the eye. He says yes to the 8 p.m. emails. He puts up with the nonsense. Why? Because he's a prisoner in a nicer cell. He has stuff, but he has no floor. Jordan. Jordan hits 20,000 and feels insulated. He keeps the boring car. He stays in the okay apartment. He pushes every extra dollar into the growth layer. By 45, Jordan is a different animal. The boss asks for the weekend. Jordan says no. He doesn't yell. He doesn't make a scene. He just says no. Why? Because his floor is concrete. He has walkaway power. Alex is chasing stuff. Jordan is buying time. According to a 2025 survey, 44% of people stay in jobs they hate because their salary is their only security. Jordan isn't in that 44%, but there's one last trap, the most dangerous one. You log into your app, you see your growth layer, you see 5 figures, and you start thinking, how do I make this go faster? You're scrolling late at night. Again, the algorithm knows you have money now. It can smell the stability. Your feed changes. No more how to save. Now it's how to 10 times. A guy in a rented garage. A chart with a vertical line. A promise. Meme coins. Leverage. 10 times returns. You look at your 20,000. Suddenly, it feels small, slow, insignificant. You think, one lucky break, just one. I could skip the next 5 years of grinding. Stop. That is the exact moment the system wins. When you're at 2,000, a gamble is a mistake. When you're at 20,000, a gamble is a catastrophe. Because here's the catch. When you swing for the fences with your floor money, you aren't just betting cash, you're betting your time. If you lose $2,000, you can earn that back. It's a bad month. It's some extra shifts. If you lose $20,000 on a shortcut, you didn't just lose money. You deleted 2 years of your life. The late nights, the skipped vacations, the discipline, all erased. Gone. You're back at the start of phase 1, but this time, you're doing it with the weight of failure on your chest. Fast is slow. Boring is fast. The data proves it. In 2024, the market returned 25%. The average investor? Only 16%. Why? Because we're human. We see the red on the screen and we sweat. We see the green and we get greedy. We jump in and out. We try to time the lightning and we get burned. Phase 2 isn't about being a genius. It's about being a wall. The floor stays in cash. Boring. Safe. Silent. The growth stays in the index. You forget the password. The spicy experiments? You use the crumbs. Never the foundation. Let's bring it home. Money in phase 1 is about stuff. Can I buy the coffee? Can I fix the car? Money in phase 2 is about silence. The silence of not worrying when your boss walks in with a quick question. The silence of a phone that doesn't ring with debt collectors. The silence of knowing that if you wanted to walk away tomorrow, you could. The real luxury of $20,000 isn't what you can buy. It's what you can say no to. No to the bad boss. No to the toxic environment. No to the lifestyle creep that wants to turn you back into a prisoner. Here is your phase 2 playbook. First, pick your floor. Don't guess. Calculate. What does 6 months of survival look like? That number is now sacred. Second, build the growth layer. Boring. Low cost. Forget it exists. Third, the fun layer. Use the overflow. If you can't afford it with the extra, you can't afford it. Fourth, be suspicious. If an ad, a bank, or a guru tries to get you to touch your floor, they aren't your friend. They're a predator. And finally, when you screw up, and you will, don't quit. Rebuild the floor. Restart the plan. Think back to where we started. Driveway. Engine off. Lights out. The blue glow of your phone is still hitting your face. $20,000 is still staring back at you. The number hasn't changed, but you have. You realize now that the number isn't the finish line, it's just the ground you're standing on. Phase 1 was about escaping the chaos. Phase 2 is about making sure you never drift back into it. Don't turn your foundation back into a trophy. You've built the floor. Now, stand on it.